Over the course of the last few months, Anthropic released a vast array of new products, and the latest add-on was Claude, designed by Anthropic with a particular add-on, Labs. So in today's video, I want to break down what we can learn from this shipping mechanism that is happening inside Anthropic, more specifically how you as an AI builder can essentially also decode exactly the same behavior and launch your own agentic AI services, for example, be it in sales, marketing, or any other subdomain of your liking. But before we get started, and if you're completely new to the channel and you do not know who I am, my name is Cyril Imhof. I've been building in AI for exactly 3 years, almost to the day in 2023. Back then, we were mostly coming up in Europe in terms of newspaper coverage and TV coverage because we were building one of the very first B2C products. But like everybody else, over the last 9 months, we've been, of course, pivoting into AI agent building, where we've helped a multitude of enterprises scale, especially in the regulated domain like finance, banking, as well as public infrastructure. I also have an education business where I've helped to date up to 500 students accelerating their upskilling and their learning journey into AI. But let me quickly just go back into today's video. So I'm going to quickly explain the Anthropic Labs approach, essentially from product incubation to then scaling a particular product. We also talk what they are actually already shipped and what might come next from Anthropic. But before we get started, what actually happened? Well, I set the hook at the beginning of the video that Claude design was actually being shipped. If we just quickly have a look at what it actually means in the first place, yes, it's yet another feature coming out of the Claude segment. It is in essence the missing building block. If you have an engineering team, you usually have something on the line of a product manager. You might actually be looking into a software engineer, which of course Claude Code is already doing. Now the missing piece is truly just a design component, which of course they have a bunch of powerful features they were outlining for anything in terms of wireframes for phones and so forth. So it's essentially, well, just a logical scaled add-on. But let me quickly walk you back just what actually happened, because this particular feature was in essence shipped by Anthropic Labs. So in January 2026, Anthropic introduced Labs in the first place. And if we just go quickly down to read the fine prints, ultimately they were basically mentioning that, well, this approach is the true birthplace of Labs. So it's a team focused on capabilities in terms of incubating experimental products at the frontier of Claude's capabilities. And then, of course, they went on explaining who might be actually leading the team. And ultimately, what you can actually learn from this is if Anthropic is doing it with the sense of they have the large language models. So most of the people, I think, in the world still believe Anthropic is only an LLM provider. But once you actually have the LLMs, of course, you can then wrap and incubate an array of products around it. The great thing, you might actually also be doing exactly the same thing as an AI builder. Ultimately, you might be mixing, for example, open source model like Qwen or Kimi or maybe Mistral here in Europe, and then also shipping your agentic AI products. In other words, incubating them from experimentation and then scaling it into product releases. So in essence, that's exactly what they did now recently, just a few days ago with Claude Design. But if we quickly zoom out and look at it from a bigger picture, what that actually means in the first place, they're trying to understand really the market, what is really, really necessary. And then they're also, of course, having a huge frontier capability in terms of delivering that in a great product. So it's in essence a product incubation engine. So they first experiment, they have the LLM capabilities, they test it firstly internally potentially, and then they scale it to the market. So currently, the way they actually shipped in this exact momentum is, of course, Claude Code potentially comes from this very thinking. And they also have Claude in Chrome, they have Cowork and the entire skills system. And now really the recent add-on might be the Claude Design that we've just explained. Same attitude, we have a large language model capability, we wrap it into a harness, into a system. I also maybe add a video here where we actually explained what it really takes to build such a harness, and including skills and so on and so forth, and then essentially scale it across their user base. Now, this is exactly the pattern of this AI native company building, and you as an AI builder, ultimately, of course, you can incorporate a bunch of exactly this thinking, so wrapping not only large language models around a particular use case, but really combining different elements like skills, like harnesses, like connectors, like security, like governance into a holistic product and then ultimately ship it. So potentially what could come next from this very point? Of course, Claude could ship one of the few missing pieces, really a full CI/CD agent, including infrastructure topics that certainly maybe on the, I would say, frontier that's coming next. Of course, security with Claude Mythos, they already alluded to the fact that they might actually be entering that particular vertical. Other workflows, data analysis, I think is already pretty great already on Cowork and on Claude Code, Claude for Meetings, Claude Research. These are just, I would say, maybe the natural next building blocks, what they might, again, with this particular attitude, experiment, test, and scale, ship in the months to come. Ultimately, Anthropic is set to be IPOing very soon. So all these add-ons, like, for example, the design components that we talked today, is just a natural add-on to the portfolio to really boosting the valuation at initial public offering. For you as an AI builder, what that entails, that it's exactly also the right moment to jump on track and not only look at LLM as wrappers or LLM products as wrappers, but really a comprehensive system that you can, again, experiment, test, and then scale and really launch in your own vertical. What is truly unique exactly as an AI builder now, you might actually do that for a substrate of users where you really have context, domain, and specific enterprise knowledge, for example, into sales, into marketing, into GTM, or into any other vertical, and you really truly do that a little better than Anthropic, so they ideally are not competing when you're launching your AI SaaS. So that's a little bit for just an update on the best read of, again, Claude Design. Again, not shipped by Anthropic, but truly Anthropic Labs, which they introduced once again on the 13th of Jan 2026. And really holistically, it's all about experimenting, testing, and scaling, building on LLMs. And you ultimately, as a product builder, you can exactly mimic the same, then launch your own AI startup or then scale your AI business to new horizons. So that's it for the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.